Most Magic the Gathering players play the Commander format. This makes it the most popular format of all time. Commander follows the basic rules as any other format. This means that everything you learned while playing Magic the Gathering will still apply to this format. For example, how combat works, how many lands you can play each turn, and so on. The first difference is the use of singleton 100 card decks. This means that you can have only one copy of each card, unless that card is a basic land, where you can have any amount of basic lands in your deck as you want. The second exception to this rule are cards that say otherwise. For example, a card like Shadowborn Apostoli. A deck can have any number of cards named Shadowborn Apostoli. And you have 100 cards in total, not 60 as in most formats, but 100. And the reason why you have 100 different cards is to make this format inconsistent on purpose. One out of your 100 cards will be a legendary creature, which will be your commander. That's why this is called Commander format. The commander is a creature that starts in a command zone. You can play it as if it was in your hand, but it actually is not in your hand. It is on the battlefield in a command zone, and you can see what other players have as their commander before the game starts. When you play your commander and it dies, you return it to your command zone. And each time your commander dies, it costs an additional 2 more mana to play. This is called commander tax, meaning that if my Rakdos died, I played him for 6 mana, next time I want to play him, he will cost 8 mana in total. If he dies again, he will cost 10 mana, and so on. There is also 21 commander damage. This means that when your commander deals 21 damage to an opponent, that opponent loses the game. And the reason why this rule exists is because it is easy to get a lot of life gain. You need to have a way to win against these decks that can ridiculously have a huge amount of health, let's say 100, 200, 500, even 1000 health in one game, and there is really no way you can win against these decks so easily. That's why this is the rule. Another reason why it is so easy to get so far ahead with your life is because your starting life is not 25, but 40. Also, there are 4 players in this format, not 2, but 4. The main objective of Commander is to have fun and not to win. You should have a way to win with your deck, you need a synergy, but that shouldn't be your priority. Your priority should be to have fun. There are only 4 players. That means that on average you would win every 4th game you play. These are the main rules of Commander. But there are also unwritten rules which are really important to know. The first rule is not to target one person. You have 4 players and it would make sense that you should attack only one player so you get him out of the game, then the second player, then the third player. But you should spread your damage evenly. This happened to me, so I know why this is one of the unwritten rules. One player killed me on turn 5, they went all out and they killed me. And I spent 1 hour waiting for the next game. And I wasn't having fun at all. That was one of my worst games I ever played, because I didn't actually play for long. And again, Commander is about having fun. So remember this. It's better to spread your damage evenly, not target one person down. The second unwritten rule is that players hate stacks. Cards like Winter Orb are stacks cards. As long as Winter Orb is untapped, players can't untap more than one land during their untap steps. And I'm not here to say it's a good thing or a bad thing that certain cards like stacks are said that you cannot play them. But I don't recommend you to play them because it saves a lot of arguing with others who don't expect someone to play cards like Winter Orb. It saves a lot of time and it's not worth it bringing it to a Commander night and then everyone is not having fun because you get annoyed at why my cards are so annoying to you and you won't have fun. The same thing can be said about land distraction. Cards like Armageddon, which says destroy all lands. Again, don't play land distraction, it saves a lot of arguing. The third rule is that you can make contracts. And you can be as creative as you want with your contracts. And one might ask, what are contracts? An example of a contract could be, you know what, let's not attack each other until we are the last two players standing. Let's attack this player. This player is way far ahead and he will win very soon. This is a contract where you agree with one or more players on a certain thing. And you should never break a contract, because no one will trust you anymore when you want to make a contract. Now we move to the fourth rule, and this is the most important rule out of all of these unwritten rules. And that is that proxy is accepted. They are not real cards, they are fake ones. And you can print out your cards and play with them. It saves a lot of money, because you can try out different decks, and again, Commander is about having fun. So sometimes I see, oh, this is a really interesting deck. Instead of me spending $500 on it, let's go and print it out and play with it. Then I would realize, oh, it's not actually that much fun. Let's try a different deck, and so on and so on. And if I would need to buy those cards, I wouldn't have money at all. I have one real deck, and that is my Demon Tribal deck. The rest of my decks are proxy. And proxies are worldwide accepted when you play casual Commander. You don't need to ask if you can use them. I did that as a beginner, but no one cares. No one really cares that you are playing with proxies. As long as they can read what the card does, then it is okay. And the card must exist. No custom cards. That is obvious, but I still wanted to put it out there. If I met my younger self as a beginner to Commander, my number one advice to myself would be to play cards that have each and all instead of target. Card like Damnation, destroy all creatures. The reason is that you have 3 opponents, not just one. It is hard to choose who you want to target because everyone will say, oh, I did nothing to you, leave my creature alone. And creatures have ward. And this keyword means that in most cases you need to pay additional mana to target that creature. So if I want to destroy a creature, but it has ward 2, that means I need to pay additional 2 mana to be able to cast my spell targeting that creature. That's why board wipes and cards that don't target have so many advantages in Commander. Because you affect all 3 opponents, you don't need to hear from everyone, oh, I did nothing to you, don't target me. And you can ignore all keywords with ward, because you have each and all on your card instead of target. That is my number one advice for my younger self being new to Commander. If you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend you to watch this video next. Thanks for watching and stay tuned, my friends.